Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you today. It's Friday, and it is our series, Stories of Hope. I'm so excited because today we're going to start out with a bang, and we're going to start out with a positivity bang because we need more positivity in our lives. So we are bringing to you Spencer Jones. He is in the house, and he's known as the Prince of Positivity. He shares his positive energy and spreads joy around the world. His mission is to ignite people's lights so they can chase their passions and help others and live their life to the max. He's the CEO of Jonesin for and has two podcasts called The Daily Energize and The Jonesin 4 Show, and holds events all over the world. His message is simple and powerful, which is to take control of your energy, sovereignty, and through his events and programs and community of energizers, he shows and models how you can master it. He's also a classically trained pianist and choir director. He has published 3 books and has been published in multiple magazines and websites. And for those of you that are watching us live, you're going to see he's also very, very handsome. So welcome to the show today, Spencer Jones.
Oh my goodness, you make me blush here and have some fun. I don't know who wrote that intro, but thank you. And then handsome, oh my gosh, you're too kind. But thank you so much for having me here. Such an honor. And I'm ready to give people a jolt of positivity and energy to keep this positivity radiating.
Yeah, that's so good. So, I just want to, I have several things I want to ask you about because, so let's just start with you first, because I want to find out, you are on this positive mission to help people rise and stay in their positive vibration and their positive light, right? You're on that mission. So is that something that you've been doing for a long time, that you do for yourself, that was a calling, that was a mission? And how did you get started on this?
Thank you for the question. And yes and no. I would say that I've been doing it my whole life, but unintentionally for many years. So as I've always been an optimistic person, the glass is half full type person, but I let the world move me and guide me the way it wanted to, right? Like if I woke up on the correct side of the bed, I was happy. If I didn't, I was grumpy. Or, if my day was going well, I was in a good mood. Or if it was a bad day, I wasn't in a good mood. So it wasn't until I was in my later 20s that I realized, oh, we can be intentional about our mindset. We can be intentional about cultivating positivity and joy and rewire our brain to discover and savor more joys in our life and really step into our light and shine. So in college, I was going for music education. I was a middle school and high school choir director for 9 years, and I really loved helping students at that time tap into expressing themselves through music, to have that expression and love, but also that community that we created in that classroom where people felt safe, felt comfortable, and could just be themselves. Because there's nothing like being you, as opposed to what you think the world is trying to make you be, or all of these expectations and weight that we carry. They could just be themselves. So I love doing that, but I felt called to do something else. So I've been an entrepreneur throughout my life in a variety of different things. And so I started to experiment and see, as I was teaching, what could it be? Is it fitness? Is it health? And I learned personal growth and how we can master our mindset, as I mentioned, and started really working that on me. And, me being my first client, going, oh, okay, let's work on this. How does this work? And then let's start doing these tactics, these strategies, these habits and routines. Oh my gosh, this is changing my life. And then, once it happens to you, you're like, I can't wait to share it. So I started sharing it and helping other people through coaching at first. And now it's where we've grown this whole Energizer ecosystem to help people step into their light, to shine bright, right? And live their life to the max. But I've been doing it my whole life, but unintentionally for many years, until like probably the last 5 or 6 years, it's been really intentional. And then the last 4 years being a full-time entrepreneur, doing this intentionally.
Yeah. And you also have two podcasts, right? So
Yes.
you have the Jones and Four. Jones and Four, is that what it's called? Jones
Yep.
and Four
The
podcast?
Jones and for like I think you're Jones and for chocolate, you're Jones and for positivity, right? You're craving it. So we have the Jones and for show, which is an interview style show similar to this, where we have guests on that share their life stories and experiences and knowledge and tidbits to help people live their life to the max. And then we have our Daily Energize show, which is a short 5 to 10 minute podcast that's released 5 days a week that just gives people a jolt of energy and a quick tip to help them, well, live their life to the max, get the most out of the day.
That's so great. That's so great. I'd love to come on your show, by the way, on
Love
your
to have
Jones
you
and
for
Four
season
show.
3. Let's make
Yeah,
that happen.
yeah, that sounds good. So what about your Energized show? Is that on a podcast? Is that on YouTube? Is that on Spotify? Where is it at?
Yeah, good question. So the Jones and Four show, that interview one, is on YouTube and then all of the major platforms for podcasts. The Daily Energize is strictly more just podcasts. So any of the major, I mean, even minor platforms for podcasts, you could probably find it on there. So yeah, feel free to check it out. And I would love to hear what you think about it if you do.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's wonderful that you're putting out the daily, because it's so important to have a daily practice, right? It's so important to have a daily practice, and start your day off right. Like you said, that when you first started out, you found yourself, one day was good, next day not so good. One day was good, and then you realize that you could.
Roller coaster of emotions, right?
Right? Yeah. And in order and to make a choice, you can choose to not think those negative thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
and you can make that choice. Does this thought support me? Does this way of thinking support me? Does this um, the way that I'm acting, is that supporting me? And once, like you said, you made those changes for yourself, and now you've got a whole tribe around the world that is interested in being positive and staying positive, because there's so much more fun in that energy, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, it's so much more fun and it's energizing when you make that choice. And to be clear, it is a choice. It's a
Mhm.
choice for us to think positive, to see the good in the world, and also see the negative and negativity, the drama and gossip, all that in the world. The way I
Yeah,
like to look at it is I mean, a couple different ways, a little analogies, but we're swimming in an ocean, and the ocean is really two seas, a sea of negativity and sea of positivity. What you focus on is what you get more of. So if I'm focused on negativity, well, I'm swimming in the sea of negativity. If I'm focused on the more positives, I'm swimming in the sea of positives. Well, life has an algorithm, just like social media. Those seas have an algorithm. And basically, that algorithm is on social media. When you scroll over something and you pause, even for a half a second longer, it senses that and it goes, oh, you like this. Well, we want to keep you on the platform. So we're going to show you more of those things, right? Whether it's whatever it is. It could be politics, it could be positive, it could be drama, it could be doesn't kayak fishing stuff like one of my passions. Great. It's going to show you more of that. Well, life has the same algorithm. If you look for the negatives, the drama, the gossip, the hate in the world, you're going to find more of it and you're going to just see it more and more. But if you focus on the positives and you make that choice until the positives, well, then you get to savor it and see more of it and really enjoy those beautiful moments in your life. So the choice is yours. Which one do you want to do? Again, you get to choose. Are you focusing on the negatives or are you focus on the positives? And it's such a beautiful choice that you get to make every single day. And just to be clear, it's not toxic positivity where everything's sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns, because guess what? There is negativity in the world. You're going to have low days and rough spots. That happens, and that's okay. Just know that I can look at those things, I can go through those valleys, learn the lessons, take those lessons with me, remove the guilt and shame, the anger, the frustration, implement those lessons, and keep going forward, choosing positives, choosing the good.
Yeah. It's really empowering. That's the right word. It's really empowering when the way that you talked about it, the sea of negativity, the sea of positivity, which sea do you want to swim in, right? And it's really, right? It's really empowering when you uh, choose I'm going to swim in the sea of positivity. I'm going to come up against all kinds of negative things, whether they're within myself or within my community or in the world or whatever. But I'm going to recognize, oh, I'm here in the sea of positive negativity now, and now I'm going to make the choice and then jump ship and go back over to the positive side, right? So is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Like we'll sense ourselves all of a sudden in the getting sucked into the negativity. It happens to me, even the Prince of Positivity. I get sucked into that negativity at points, but as soon as I recognize that, I'm like, bye, I'm out of here. Right? Let's go to that sea of positivity and let's sail on that. And it's I wouldn't say a battle because that sounds very aggressive, but it's just this choice we get to make every day. And it's when you're intentional about it, it makes all the difference in the world, not only to you, but the people in your life, right? You step into your light more, you shine a little bit brighter. The people around you, whether it's your family, your coworkers, your friends, whoever, will start to sense it. Strangers sense it, right? You have that energy about you, and they feel that change in your energy, and it starts to affect them. It's amazing.
So, you know how I was telling you earlier that I've been recently, a lot of people in my community, and they know that I'm a very positive person, and I'm known in my community. And, people that know me, they know that I'm one of the most positive people that they know because they know how hard I work and how hard I've worked at staying in the positive lane, right? And so over this last month, I have been severely tested with various different challenges and whatnot, but one particularly last night. So last night, my car was vandalized, and red paint spray painted all over it. Okay. So this is a perfect example. This is a perfect example that things happen when life happens or when bad things happen to good people or when things happen, right? Because things happen. So, but that happened. And so how would you coach me to, uh, yeah, deal with this?
Man, I could see that being extremely frustrating. So I would imagine, and I would ask you, what were you feeling in that moment when you saw that your car was vandalized? What did you notice?
Yeah, I felt violated. I felt violated was the biggest feeling. It was a big feeling of violation and betrayed. Like, what is this? Like, where is this coming from? And so I would say the biggest feeling though was a violation, like someone attacking my personal property.
Right? Someone crossed the boundary of the physical boundary of your property, but then cross the boundary because we have this connection to our vehicles, especially because we use them all the time and sometimes we name them and all of that, that they violated your property and you in a sense. And obviously that's not okay. That's frustrating and aggravating when that happened. How did you like well, have you let go of that anger and frustration at all, or what did you do with it?
Well, I'm a prolific journaler.
Mhm.
So, one of my ways that I process my own emotions and release the anger and all of that is I journal. So that's one way. The other thing is I have a very great practice of releasing anger out of my physical body. So, releasing that anger, but I haven't done it yet because I'm still talking with the police and all the different things. And this happened late last night. So, I haven't done it. And then I had client work this morning, so I haven't even gotten around to it yet, but I plan on getting to it.
Okay.
So what I hear you saying is that process the feelings, process the emotions, get rid of, right? That what I hear you saying?
That's what you hear me saying, right? To observe it, to recognize, become aware, because first step's always awareness. Become aware of the feelings, emotions, and then start to process them. Not judging them, not saying it's good or bad feelings, because they're just feelings, they're just emotions. They're part of this human experience. So look at them, become aware, process, work through them, and then let them go, release them, and then look for me, I would be like, okay, what are the lessons in here? Do I park? And I don't know the situation, of course, but it's like, do I park the car in my garage more often? Do we have to have surveillance cameras? What kind of stress is that? Or did maybe this was supposed to happen? So you met a police officer or someone in this whole lineup of people you're talking to that now you get to help impact their life, or they get to introduce somebody to you, or who knows what can come from this experience. While aggravating in the moment, who knows where it's leading to and what it will where it'll guide you and someone else.
Yeah, that's a really great way to put it. And make no mistake that it didn't, pass me by, that me having this experience last night and then you being our first guest on today. So really a gift from the universe right off the bat to help soothe the waters. The one thing that I know for sure, Spencer, is that I'm not a victim, and I'm not sitting here and feeling like I'm a victim and this is I'm going to stay there in that angry place, or whatever the energy is, the emotion of the feeling violated. I'm not a victim here, and I'm going to move beyond this. So this
Life
is
is not
also,
happening to you, life is happening for you.
yeah. And so I do know that. So I'm going to uh, keep my head up high, and I'm going to process my emotions around that, get my anger out, and then go back into the positive lake, into
I
the
love it.
positive stream.
That's amazing. And that's the journey of life, right? We go through these highs, these summits and valleys. We're going to be thrown in that valley and that darkness at times, but it's keeping that mindset that you have, that you are showing everybody and representing as a role model to all of us, to go like, let's use that. And when we face that, let's go through those same processes so that we can then come out and jump back in that sea of positivity and keep on swimming.
That's so good. That's so good. Let's tell the audience again how they can find you on social media, and about your podcast again, and where they can look you up for more information.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. You could just search Spencer Jones, or Jones in for, JONESINFOR, like you're Jones in for positivity. You can find me on social media that way, or at Jones in for. I'm pretty much on all social media platforms that way. Daily Energize and the Jones in For Show are the podcasts if you want to check those out. And if you just want to see all the cool stuff we're doing, and I've been told that it gives you a hug, just this energetic hug when you visit our website. We are jonesin4.com. So if that interests you and you want to get a little energetic hug, go check that out. And I would love to hear everybody's thoughts about this segment of the podcast. So please reach out to both of us. Let us know your biggest takeaway. I would love to hear it.
Yeah, so beautiful. Thank you so much, Spencer Jones. We're going to take a break on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. I am so excited to introduce you all to Alexandra Taketa. She is a money mindset mentor and coach for women entrepreneurs. She coaches and mentors women business leaders and entrepreneurs to master their money mindset, own their worth, and take profitable action steps to create a bolder business and a bigger bottom line. She founded her company with one mission: to help women become abundant, wealthy, and empowered. And she has helped hundreds of clients across 5 continents to use their sole purpose to create massive impact and make meaningful money. She's excited to teach us the fundamental mindset shift and practical business strategies that have helped her go from broke and overwhelmed to a massively abundant woman. She brings all her experience of 15 years in corporate as a 6 to 7 figure earner, author, keynote speaker, coach, and CEO of 2 multiple 6-figure online businesses to help you up-level your money game. Welcome to the show today, Alexandra.
Thank you, Cornelia. I'm so pleased to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're here. Now, we can see, for those of us that are live watching, you are currently in your car because you are doing, you have to go to another gig after this. And this is all part of why technology works for us, because we can work in our cars. We can work independently in another place that we're not even living. And so this is another reason why being an abundant person is very helpful, isn't it?
Yes, for sure. And I think that was a big reason for my own venture into entrepreneurship was just really the time freedom, the location freedom, all of those things were something that I was highly valuing as I was, starting sort of maybe I would say like a second act in my own life, in my own career.
Yeah. So what do you find is the most challenging aspect that women face, women entrepreneurs face, women that are just maybe starting out in their businesses? Maybe they have support around them. Maybe they have, maybe they don't. What do you find is the most important step for women to take or mindset to hold in order to move into a thriving, abundant business?
That is a beautiful question. So thank you for asking it. And I think it's really relevant because becoming an entrepreneur and running your own business is very different than working for somebody else and being a part of somebody else's operation where maybe you have a just one little piece of a job that you're doing where you're contributing in some way. Um, my my experience personally, and then also with the women that I have coached and mentored, is that entrepreneurship is a much bigger emotional ride than being a part of a sort of a corporation. And that's not to demean mean that, but and what I mean by that is that when you're out there and sort of the shingle is your name and it's, you're the brand or you're the person who's behind everything, it feels much more personal. And one of the things that I have noticed is that it's really, it can feel easier to be visible with a product that's sort of outside of yourself or to promote things that, aren't personal. But when it comes to being vulnerable and sharing your stories and getting out there, a lot of women, that is a hard thing to do. Or it's hard for them to put a dollar value on the work that they do. Um, I think there's a real tendency, especially amongst women, to our nature is to be very giving and to really just sort of give. And, the reality is if you give, people will take. And so you also have to value your work and value it appropriately and charge for it appropriately, right? So you don't get into that over delivering, under earning cycle, which I think is very common for women. So those are a lot of, I've touched on a lot of things, but I think that those are a lot of the things that I work with women around, getting comfortable with sales, getting comfortable with valuing their work and charging appropriately for it, getting out of this sort of trading time for dollars dynamic, being willing to be open and vulnerable and share their authentic stories as a way to connect and relate with their customers, with their clients.
Yeah, I think, what I see a lot with, I have a lot of entrepreneurs around me too, and I have a group of women that I lead. And what I see a lot in those with women is that they still feel not comfortable in selling their product and asking for and putting it on the table, their offer on the table, whatever their offer is. But
Yep.
they don't feel comfortable to ask for that kind of money for their product or whatever. That's something that they would prefer not to do. They would prefer
Uh,
not to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think if money could be sort of wiped off of the table, a lot of women would be would probably be more successful at what they do because they wouldn't have that dynamic. But what that but there's a way to overcome that. That's what I want to say. There's a way to overcome that. And um, gosh, one of the things that I teach and that I think is really powerful is when we remember that, sales is really the way I think about it. Sales is an act of service. There's so many things that I have bought, I have purchased, or experiences, mentorships, coaching containers, retreats, books, whatever, that have been life changing for me. That was an incredible act of service, that this person was willing to give their gift and show up and share it with the world. And I was able to receive that. And the reciprocity came in the form of, being able to pay for those things. And we're all at free will. We're all at free will. Can you imagine going into, Nordstrom's and trying to buy a t-shirt, right? Like, you get to decide if you want to buy that or not. Nobody's forcing that on you. And the same thing for services. I always love it when I can have these conversations with women and really get them into that space of realizing that, gosh, like, what if she does make this decision and chooses to work with you? Imagine the transformation that's possible and what a gift that is, right? And she gets to decide, right? She gets to decide. And one of the things that I would also say I think is most helpful, or at least that I have found most helpful, is that the the engagements that we have, when we can treat them like as relationships rather than transactions, that's where the magic happens. Because somebody might, come into your world and they may not be ready to buy whatever you have to offer immediately. But if you're treating it like a relationship and you're really there for the reciprocity of, wow, what can I learn here too? How can I grow through this? How can I help them grow, right? That give and receive both ways. Then you can develop something really rich, and maybe that seed will germinate later, and maybe they will buy something from you later, or maybe not, but you've still won the relationship out of that.
Yeah, and you can really grow and nurture the relationship. I can relate to this because I've had many, relationship beginnings that way, to where we would maybe visit with each other, like, 3 to 6 months over a period of time. And then later on, when the time was right, maybe for them financially or whatever, they were able to take advantage and purchase the product that I was offering to them, which I always say to people, it is a disservice if you don't offer your product to the people that you're talking to, your leads, or the people that you want to, give your gifts to. It's a disservice for you not to do it, because people
Yes.
will be, right? People will be missing out on what it is that you have to offer. And to look at it from that perspective, is that something that you're teaching in your classes as
A
well?
hundred, 100%. Sales is an act of service, and so it's a disservice if you don't offer it. And yes, and also, like, there's only a few ways to make more money, right? You can raise your prices, right? You can, uh, you know, sell more products, right? Or like make more offers, right? Like, I mean, honestly, like, you got to get out there and you have to share what you have. And fundamentally, I think it comes down for a lot of women to realizing that, what they have to offer is really of value.
Yeah.
And that, they're worthy of their mission. And there's a becoming process that happens in that, right? It's, I teach a concept that I call it, the future self abundant woman. And it's really recognizing that there's this version of ourselves that's, out in the future, that's already done the thing that we're desiring, that's already lived into the vision that's inside of our heart. And that's the version of us that's most connected to God, to the divine, to spirit, who has all the wisdom, right? That can really step alongside us and support us and usher us and help us make better decisions. And when we can come from her perspective, then we know, okay, where should I be investing? What should I be doing? How would I approach the sales call? How would I be valuing myself? What would I be wearing? How would I choose to show up? What were the words that I would be articulating? How would I be owning my message? All of the things. How would I be approaching, each interaction? And, that woman knows that she's worthy. That woman has claimed all of her worth, all of her value. She's no longer, hanging out in the lower register emotions of fear and insecurity and lack or scarcity. She is in abundance, right? She's in full belief. And that tool, I think, alone has been really transformational for women, because it allows them to step outside of themselves and kind of get beyond the fear and into their power.
Yeah. Connecting with your future self is your greater self, is your abundant self. Because really, a lot of us, I mean, when you think about it, the women's suffrage movement, was all within this last 100 years. So women earning money, making money as much as men make, and all the things. There were still so many things to overcome that women had to overcome. But then women did a lot of things. They had households, then they gave birth, then they started running businesses. So there was a lot to claim, and maybe there was a low self-worth too, like you said, and now really to come and embrace their abundant self, their high esteem, their high worth. That is where they're going. And part of what I heard you say earlier, that the way you set up your lifestyle, financial freedom, location freedom, all those things are important values for you, that as a businesswoman, that was really important. And when women really can know what their values, why they're doing what they're doing, what is their why, the reason behind it, that is all part of that discovery, isn't it?
It sure is. It sure is. And it's so beautiful to watch when women really come into that place of power. I mean, there's something that is just really gorgeous about it too, because I think it offers an invitation to others, and an example for others to step into their into their own authentic power too, into their own abundant woman version. And because that version of us is generous, she's collaborative, she's encouraging, she's the sister, the friend that's stepping alongside of you, supporting you, cheering you on, maybe going forward and, putting her hand back and saying, come on, we can do it, or she's the one behind you, clapping for you, all of those things. And so that to me is also really exciting, because then it's not just about you, right? Becoming that abundant woman is so much bigger than our little own, personal worlds. It's really women stepping into their power to, come into their highest selves and to make an impact, right? To ripple out that good energy to all of us, because we all need it. We need those examples.
We need those role models. Becoming that abundant woman is your authentic nature. That is your authentic nature. And for you not to limit yourself from becoming abundant, becoming that woman. Like you said, women are givers. We are natural givers. And we want to be able to use the money as a tool, our abundance as a tool, to support other causes that we're passionate about, things that we're passionate about. There's so many reasons. I want to tell the audience how they can look you up, how they can follow you, learn more about you on social media, wherever you want to send us, let us know.
Sure. You can find me on my website, which is my name, Alexandra Taketa.com. And I'm on Instagram at alexandra.taketa. You can find me on Facebook or LinkedIn under my name as well. And I would love for visitors to come hang out with me, download any of my free resources around abundance, money. I have a lot of activations and meditations and other trainings, and would love to have have you come and hang out with me. Come
Yeah.
message me, be in my DMs. I'm all about community, and I will respond to them.
That's so wonderful. I just love the work that you're doing. Thank you for, coming on the show today and doing the work that you're doing with women around the world. It's so important to have sisters around the world that are really stepping up their money game and embracing their true abundance, their divine inheritance, right?
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Cornelia. I really, really appreciate it. And I would love to continue the conversation, and maybe you can come and jump into my Facebook group, and you could share a bit of your own story. I would love that.
Oh, that would be great, Alexandra. Thank you so much. Have a
Yeah.
great rest of your day. We're going to take a break on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. We'll be right back. Thanks,
Thank
Alexandra.
you.
We're going to keep the positivity going now. And Stephanie Sanz is here. She's a licensed mental health counselor, a neurofeedback clinician, an anxiety coach who specializes in anxiety and stress. She's also a Reiki master and author of the forthcoming book, How to Hack Anxiety Fast. This book is scheduled to be released in late 2024. Welcome to the show, Stephanie Sanz.
Yes, thank you for having me, Cornelia.
So this is wonderful work that you're doing, the work of, healing anxiety and really shifting your mindset and learning how to overcome anxiety. Now, what got you started in this direction in your life?
Yeah, so, I'll be completely honest here. I have my own personal history with anxiety and panic attacks. I actually started having bald spots when I was as young as 4 years old, and the doctor didn't know what it was after ruling out all these, different types of medical conditions. They were reticent, but finally they said it must be stress. My mom didn't know what that meant for a 4-year-old. I mean, who does? What 4 or 5-year-old has that kind of stress in their life? I mean, they don't even have a framework really. But there I was, her 4-year-old, losing hair, and it was because of stress. And that's kind of set the tone, I think, for years to come in my life. I struggled a lot with anxiety and having panic attacks. Um, and my family life wasn't, it had its great moments, but at certain times it was really trying. Both my parents were from different countries. They didn't really have a framework either for what mental health was, so I didn't really get as much support as I needed. So, so I struggled with anxiety personally. I struggled getting through school. I was kind of, actually the anxiety held me back a lot from school. So as a truant, I didn't feel comfortable going to school. So I barely graduated high school, but there was a turning point in my life. I was in one of those, what they call continuation school, high school, where they kind of put the high school kids who they don't know what to do with anymore, but they have to give them a last chance before kicking them out and telling them, hey, get your GED if you want. Otherwise, go kick kick rocks. But I had a teacher who believed in me. I had a teacher who saw through all the crap and said to me, you can really do something if you want to. You're still young. You can make your life whatever it is that you want. And that was the first person in my life who had told me that they believed in me, who saw potential. And it kicked things into gear for me. I focused on school. I ended up graduating early. And eventually I went to college. I started off at community college. And that belief from that one teacher just really stuck with me. The belief that he had in me created belief in myself. And so
I want to stop you right there. I just love this so much, and I don't want the audience to miss this because it's really, really pivotal here, because you said it was this one person that threw you a lifeline. And
Yes.
this one person that believed in you, that made all the difference. Like, you didn't believe in yourself at the time, but this one person did. And so that person threw you a lifeline, held the space for you so that you can rise up into it and start believing in yourself because he did.
Yes, exactly. And to this day, I don't even remember his last name. I only knew his first name. I
Wow.
wasn't there that long because really, like I said, I just laser focused on getting my diploma. And it was one of those schools where you called the teachers by their first name, then you didn't really know what their last name was. So I don't even know his last name. I gosh, I really wish I did. I would love to write him a letter because also what happened was that eventually when I went to community college, that's how I started off in college. Um, I had other professors who saw the same potential and who kept that fire alive in me that that teacher Mike started. And it's like once you have that fire and you really truly believe it and you cultivate it and you let other people, you open up to other people in your life who will continue to add fuel to that fire. Gosh, your soul becomes on fire, right? Your belief and your own inner power really starts to shine. And I was very fortunate to have a few people there on my path to help me keep going. And I went from this girl who was a truant who barely graduated high school to getting into an Ivy League university. And it's really sure it's because people saw something in me that made me believe in myself and made me see my actual potential and to do something with it. And so I thought, man, if people can do that in other people's lives, they have that power and they don't even know that they have that power, right? What can I do to pass that on? What can I do that for other people? And so that's how I became a mental health counselor and eventually a neurofeedback clinician. And naturally, I would focus on anxiety because I have a personal experience with it. But not, it was my personal experience and not just with anxiety, but with having that person and then eventually people in my life tell me, you can do it. You know what? You really can. It's just the belief in yourself that you need to cultivate now, and you need to take that and you need to run with it. You need to do something with it. So I hope to do that for my clients. I've been
Yeah.
trying for years.
Oh my God, Stephanie, I just love this so much about what this man did for you. The first name only, how he believed in you and what a difference that made in your life and how you recognized that and then started believing in yourself. That alone, that can be such a long topic of so many different ways and how you evolved and grew and how many people you're helping and how that's rippling out. It's so great. So I just want to say that. And then the other thing about, how you uh, believed in yourself then, and then started, working on healing your own anxiety and the anxiety issues, and started going in that positive directions with the belief in yourself. And I just want to say, in your bio, you also said that anxiety and stress are a big leading cause of mental instability in a lot of people, stress causing a lot of illness and different things like that. So that that is huge. And now you've written your book, you're releasing your book in late 2024, how to hack anxiety, how to release that stress and let that go because you've learned how to do it yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And well, this book has been as I'm sure every author will tell you, a labor of love. Um, and I really am, hoping that those who really need to hear the words in that book will pick it up, and do some of the things that I suggest because it really, they're super powerful exercises that I do on, that I use myself. I'm nervous now. I'm nervous now in this interview, right? But I've learned ways to get through the anxiety, right? And that's the key thing, is to have enough belief in yourself that even though you're nervous, you can still get through it. Don't avoid it. Don't try and go around it. The way to deal with anxiety is through it. And the exercises that I use it with my clients, but also that I talk about in the book, kind of helps people not get away or run away, avoid the anxiety, but teaches them how to get through it in a way that they are not as activated, that they're not shutting down, that they're getting through and conquering. And when you come out the other end, hopefully you'll feel really good and be proud of yourself, and you can see that, wow, I did it. And I hope that that the person would use that experience as more evidence to believe in their own capability. Um, I hope that, even if it's just a small few, that I help. Like, and I knew, start writing this book, I knew getting into this profession, that I can't help everybody. You can't, right? But the information's out there, and you can only hope for the best. Even if I change one life,
Yeah.
that's worth it.
Yeah, but I would like to know what the statistic is out there of people who are suffering from anxiety. That's one. The other thing is, in your marketing, talking to people out there, is asking them, do they want to heal from anxiety, and do they want to be free of that? And that, yes, they can. And here's how. And the other thing I want to tell you is that I don't know who's your publisher, if you're self-publishing or whatever you're doing, but maybe you want to consider putting up a landing page and doing pre-orders for your book now. And you can then just, do pre-orders for your book now. And then when you publish your book, you can very easily start shipping out all the pre-orders to the book. For the people that are interested now, because everybody that hears your message, that wants to heal anxiety, that really wants to heal and move forward in life, right, and not be paralyzed by that stress condition, just by even jumping on and pre-ordering your book, or just saying, I want to heal from anxiety, that already is moving in the right direction. And that's what we're talking about here, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I recency effect in the beginning. I can't remember some of your questions in between, but I remember the first part, which is the statistic. I do have a statistic, and I don't remember what it is from the top of my head. I know it's in my manuscript, but it's from a statistic from the World Health Organization about how many people have struggled with anxiety. In 2019, so it was before the pandemic. Now the data is still being collected, so I'm not sure. I'm scared, honestly, to look at the statistics, coming out of this pandemic, because it has to be so much higher. So the need has just greatly increased for some, for either therapy or the therapist, and or that field is booming because of the pandemic. But any sort of products or programs or books or whatever relieves that for anxiety or mental health issues in general, there's a huge demand for. And then the last question, or the that you had about landing page, I'm getting ready for it. I just don't want to. I don't want to make promises that I can't deliver on exactly what the book just yet, because I want to be on time. When I want to, if I give a date, I want to make sure I have that date. But at the same time, once you set a date, that you have to hold yourself accountable for it. So sometimes you just got to do it, right?
Yeah, well, first of all, the book is going to be published late fall, shipping late fall, should begin October, something like that. And the only thing that really matters is that you keep being authentic to the people that purchase the book, so that at the end of October, if there's going to be a delay, you have all the emails of everyone, and you could say we're 30 days behind. So all I'm saying is that this is one way that you can already generate excitement for your book. I want to let all the people know in the audience how to look you up on social media, and if you wouldn't mind sharing that with us now.
Sure. So I can be found at just my website. It's stephaniesanz.com. So it's my first and my last name. I am on social media, also my first and last name. So Stephanie Sanz Coach on Instagram. And I have a Facebook page, Stephanie Sanz Coaching on Facebook. So those would be the best ways if you want to follow me on social media or you wanted to check out my page. I do have a free anxiety self-evaluation checklist on my website. So that might be of interest to some people. So that, and there you can just click right on my social media links if you can't remember everything else. So stephaniesanz.com.
Yeah, that's so good, Stephanie. I love the work that you're doing. Do look at what the statistics are because that's going to give you even more reason of why, like, what it is now after COVID. It's going to even give you more reason of why. But I also want to have you come back on the show and let's talk about it a little longer. Let's have a longer show. We'll just have Ashley put us in contact and we'll schedule another show. I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show today. I think it's great work that you're doing. Healing anxiety is a wonderful gift into the world and helping people believe in themselves until they themselves do.
Yes. Yes. It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much, Kornelia.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. So everyone, we're going to close out the show today. I will see you again all next week and have a wonderful week of joy and positivity and happy International Women's Day. Take care, everyone. Yeah.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.